Let's give it a test. Let's see what it sounds like. It should be ready to go. All right. Check, check, 1, 2. Can you hear me?
You could control your feet.
RadioCheckk 1, 2, RadioCheckk 1, 2, 1, 2.
Alright, RCT, how are we doing? Welcome to the installation of a Toyota RAV4 2025 version. I am doing this because I've seen a few other installation videos, but for a 24 and earlier or later, not sure how you identify that. The reason again why I'm making these is because I do have a lot of times having difficulty finding videos for myself, so I figured I can be some help to someone else struggling to install a radio, whether it's a ham radio, GMRS radio, CB radio. Everyone has a different way to do it. There's quite a few videos that I've seen on YouTube for installation. I saw someone taking apart the dash here and using parts and wires for that. I'm not very good at electronics, I guess, especially when it comes to cars, and there's a lot more electronics and chips and technology in cars. I'd rather not connect things that I don't know or how you can bypass them. So I'm going to show you a simple way of how I installed the wires. We also know that the power source is probably the most difficult one to get to, because you have to go from inside the car to the battery and the front. Once you take apart all of this here, it's really easy to take the what is it called, the glove compartment, the glove box, and there's some tabs here you can just pinch and pull. The only thing I would say was very difficult, where we end up damaging it, was this piece here. That is the main piece, and there is a piece right back over here that can only come apart if you take apart this piece and this piece. And back here you can see there is a screw, very similar to this side. There is a screw right here. So the challenge was, you cannot get back here to unscrew the part without essentially taking apart all of it. So that's really the struggle that we had, and at some point we just ripped it apart. Not sure if you can repair it again. I don't know. I'll throw some glue on there, or I don't know, duct tape. I'm not really so worried about that. There's a lot of other pieces that hold it together. So plus I'm not going to carry a lot of heavy things inside here, so I'm not very worried about it. This is just where we keep our ketchup and straws and extra napkins when we go traveling. All right, so to get to the fun part, I want to show you how I actually got to past the firewall. Essentially is what you call the space between the car and the engine. It's designed to keep the heat and the fire away from the car if it were to catch on fire, or the heat from entering the vehicle very easily. So down over here, like I said, once you take out all of this part, there is a piece down here. You can see where the red wires are going. Actually, what you got to do also, someone said you peel back, I guess that's to muffle it, but right back over there. Let's see if I can get a good shot for you. Right back over there, right here, you have to poke a hole. Let's see if it'll let me focus in. It's not going to let me focus in, sorry. But you poke a hole through that, and you run the wire up and through the engine. I would say this is very easy. So one thing to understand, again, it's this piece right here. Okay, I'm pointing at it. So this piece here, this is rubber. You poke a hole. I poked it from the engine through here. That way I can see it coming versus poking it out. This whole gasket here comes off. It pops off. So it's very easy for you to just actually pop this off if you wanted to and work on it, versus, let's see if I can I'm going to keep it in there for now, but if you have enough strings, you can pop that off, and you can actually just work with getting the wires through. I used a coat hanger, and I shoved it through. I wrapped the coat hanger and the wires together, and then I poked it through, and then I had someone grab it on the other side, and we just fed it through that way. So to be honest, that's probably the easiest way. And then of course you run the wires down this way, and I'm going to have the brick right underneath here. You can see it's back there right now being worked on. There is space here. This passenger seat is not a I'm not too sure how you call it. It goes up and down. The driver's side where I plan to have it is up and down, and so there's a lot more compartments underneath it, and it really gave me limited space. So I went ahead and just put it on this side, which I can actually just feed the wires up this way, which is easier. And then I'll run the control head and the speaker directly to the other side. All right, let me show you the engine, and so you have a better idea of how to run it through. Stand by. RCT, we are back. So this is again where I fed the cable through. I'm going to get as close as I can. So you feed it through here. Okay. You can see the gasket is just a rubber gasket. You can actually pull it through. I'm not sure if you're able to see me doing this, but like I said, very, very easy to manipulate if you have enough strength. Once you feed it through, you take this off. This was explained as protecting any wires from the heat. So you take these off, these just kind of unscrew very, very easily like this. All right, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So once you do that, you run it across. And then I just actually plugged it right into directly to the battery. That way I can have it on if I want it with the car off. I notice electronics turn off when the car is off. I'm not a very big fan of that. I do want to listen to the radio maybe sometimes if I turn the car off for a few seconds. But you know, I try to cut this to snap it in, and it won't now. So I'm sure there's something else I can do to hold this. So that's pretty much how I connected the power. Now let's go back to trying to see where I grounded the cables. Excuse me. I actually put this right here, so I found a grounding wire. It was live or active, so I went ahead and connected the ground here. Everyone says there's another ground on the other side, on the driver's side, but pointless to run the cable or the grounding cord or cable through across, which you can. There is some space down underneath there, but why go through that when you can actually just ground it right here? I'm probably going to have all this tucked underneath here. Very, very easy. And then when you put the molding back in, it's easily going to go in and just snap back in. So as long as you're within these snaps, you'll be perfectly fine. And so again, I just ran it underneath there. The brake is going to be underneath here. And here it is. So here is the brake, and that's going to be underneath the seat. I'm actually going to install it sideways because the control head extender is going that way, and so is the speaker. So the speaker is going to go just between here, right? You can feed it through underneath this. You can hide the cables underneath this. You don't have to take apart the carpet if you don't want to. You can, but this is the most simplest way I'm studying to do it. That way you don't have to take apart too many of the moldings or the plastic covers in your car, especially being brand new. You don't want to tear apart too much. So again, this is going to go down here. Bought a new antenna. I didn't realize it's not an NMO, but it is a magnet mount, but that's okay. I had an adapter right here, so that went right into that. Connected the speakers. The speaker that I had here is a newer speaker, but it didn't have the original connectors. I had to buy this on eBay, and it actually was a third-party connector, which works perfectly fine. It just didn't have the original speaker connector here. Same thing with this. This is I think generic. I bought quite a few of them because I know I'll be going through a lot of these. And once you cut this too short, you don't want to continue to have it so short that you're pulling so much wire. So I have about 10 of these laying around. And then of course we understand this is the power to the control head. So even if you have power to the brick, you still need power to the control head, which is this here. All right, let's give it a test. Let's see what it sounds like. It should be ready to go. All right. Check, check, 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
All right. All right, sounds good. Give me a radio check, 1, 2.
Radio check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
All right, thank you. All right, so that's pretty much the end of that. Most of it is just a labor, finding your way around, removing the moldings, positioning the brick where you want it to be placed at. Other than that, the antenna obviously is going to go running through here. Again, I'm not going to take apart so much that it's going to require more molding being taken away or taken apart, but you can easily tuck these away, run it underneath your weather mats if you have them, and hide it. That's all you really need to do is just hide it. You don't have to have it permanent because, God forbid, you need to service a wire or cable and antenna. That's going to be a whole nother day's worth of struggles and frustration. So, but this is my setup here. I think this is pretty awesome. I do have a, what is that other one called? XTL 5000. That's going to be going into the Jeep very, very soon. I'm using the 03 control head. I wanted to use the older speaker just to kind of keep it, very, very similar to its style. But I decided just to go with the newer speaker since it was already here next to me. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Again, this is a 2025 RAV4 installation for a Motorola Astro Spectra. Obviously, this can be used for any sort of vehicle, or I'm sorry, any sort of radio. If you want to use a CB radio or a GMRS Midland, you can use an XTL, you can use an Apex radio, whichever radio you want to use. But the primary struggle that I had, like I said, was coming down here and getting the cables right through it. The grounding, like I said, easy peasy, found it here. If you do connect it on the driver's side, if you don't have electronic seats, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more room and you can ground and feed the cable that way if you can find a way. But I watched a few other videos and this was the easiest way to feed it through there. Well, let's just see in the future if it causes any problems, but it shouldn't, because again, it's rubber, and I'm sure I can get in there if I want to seal it. I could throw some epoxy or sealant or something through that if I really wanted to do that. So I'm not taking this through the water. So this is just a commuter car. I may take it off, the dirt road just to go shooting if I want to, but I'm not going through rivers and lakes and, running it through water. So, especially being this deep. All right, feel free to reach out to me. I'm sorry you didn't watch me do the installation. It was very painful, a lot of struggles, a lot of forgiveness is being asked for a lot of curse words. So I spared you the time, and I'm just going to show you. If you really want to watch, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to put my knee pads on so I can put all this back together, and you can watch with me. Otherwise, that's really the gist of it. All right. So go ahead and fast forward if you are no longer interested in watching any more of the commentary. The rest is probably going to be some good music and some time lapse of me putting everything back together. All right, RCT, if I don't see you now, I'll see you in the next video. Radio check over and out. Hey RCT, welcome to the outro of the Motorola Astro Spectra install on a 2025 RAV4, Toyota RAV4. As I said before, I'm creating this video only because I had a hard time finding a video specifically to what I was needing to install. My efforts and success in installing the Astro Spectra was because of a few other videos that I watched, and as I said in the beginning, there's a gentleman that went through the glove box down here. He took a rubber there's a rubber piece underneath here. You puncture through that and feed the wire through that. The brick is underneath here, but this is the final I guess the final outcome of the installation here. I decided to go with one of these mag mount holders. It seems a little easier to have it here. It does very well without falling over bumps or on the freeway, so I really do appreciate the setup of the mag mount. You can buy this on Amazon. I think I got it for $13-14. Very simple to install. And this for me is a cell phone holder, the old style cell phone holders that used to hook on to the back of your phone. Now the new cell phone holders are a little different. They're kind of like the little ring around the back of your case. Actually, it looks like this. I'm not sure if you can see that. So this is my neck holster. You put it here and then you smack it onto your phone. But anyways, this is an older school one, so it actually matches very, very well here. I like that I can kind of maneuver as I need to. If I want the passenger to have control of it, they can have control of it. Otherwise, I can put it here, and I can even put it closer if I really wanted to, so it's easier to reach. So this is my setup here. Like I said before, this is feeding underneath here. I put this little adhesive strip here to hold this up, but for some reason it doesn't work very well, so I'll have to figure out something different. I don't know if I need to just buy something stronger or do adhesive on both sides against the seat and this piece, but it falls here and then this starts to stretch out, and at some point it looks like this. So this is why I try to keep this piece up here as close as I can, and then I can pull it, talk 1 2 3, and then put it back here. Let's take a look at the antenna. I was going to swap with the antenna before I go outside. It was a little windy a few minutes ago, so I want to talk about the antenna. I did buy a antenna off of Amazon. It's HYS. I can't remember what the brand was. I'll put up the link here or put up the description here in a few seconds so you can kind of see what the antenna looks like. It works very well. I don't think, hold on, let me go look, because I have a few antennas on right now. I have one that is a I think it's an 800 megahertz because I was going to use it for my scanner. Let me just show you instead of just trying to describe it. Alright, so again, this just goes underneath here and it feeds all the way through. I'm not sure if you can see the cord right there, the little white one. That's where it's looping around back to the brick. Oops. So this is the 800 megahertz antenna that I got. I mean, you can really use it for anything because you can hook up a scanner to it. You got to buy a little adapter to it. The only problem with this one is that it's not long enough for some reason. I might have to just put it on the other side or closer, but what I do is I typically have this here and it goes to the front and I have it tucked underneath here. So I might still be able to do it. I just got to get around to doing it. I don't really have anyone sitting back here with me, so I haven't really tucked away a lot of these cords here. But again, you can see the speaker cord is here, and this is the cord for the control head, and all it is just down here where the brick is. And I'll show you in a few minutes. I'm hoping you can still hear me. But that's the antenna. This is the 800 megahertz. And this is the tram antenna. Yeah, the tram antenna works very, very well. In fact, I bought a different antenna on Amazon called HYS, which was pretty good. It was decent. It was a very longer antenna. Again, maybe I'll post it here to show you what I had before. But when I put this antenna on, you can just see here where I just kind of have it looping through. See, I can feed this through a little bit more. One thing I learned with these antennas is make sure that you have the antenna down here. At some point, I'm probably gonna put some sort of adhesive or double stick here. I've seen people put their antennas like this. If it rains, there's going to be a bunch of water coming through, so it's always important to let the water run down, and then at least here, this is where you can kind of let it loop in. You might get some water in there, but it's better than having the water come up this way. See, as you can see here, I have it down here, looping down, and just come in here on this side. Okay. But as I was saying, this tram antenna is very, very good. I used to have a longer antenna on there and it didn't work as good as the tram antenna. So I think that one's a really good buy if you're looking for a you know, a true UHF antenna. That's probably going to be the one that you want to go for. So again, let's see if I can get down here and see if you can see the brick there. There is the control head plug-in, and then you got your power source out here. So again, all of this stuff here, if I really wanted to, I can zip tie it, or you know, I really need to work on probably doing that. That way it's not hanging all over the place. But you can probably just tuck away all these cords here unless you're going to need them for anything. But then again, you really shouldn't have to need them. All right. So that's pretty much the conclusion of my setup. Again, this is what it looks like on the passenger side. It looks really nice, really sleek. You can move this anywhere you want. If you don't have a cell phone holder, more than likely you can put it closer to you, or you can do it like this. The reason why I don't do it this way is because I try to use the AC from time to time. But maybe I'll try it this way, see what happens. It's a little closer and shouldn't be too much of a problem or in the way. Right. All right, team. Let me know if you have any questions, any difficulties. If you have any other tricks or tips for the team, feel free to share them below. But this is my Motorola Astro Spectra installation. All right, team. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers, which means I can monetize hopefully soon. If not, we'll keep seeing you on Instagram and YouTube. Feel free to follow. I do have a giveaway soon for a few Paxton radios that no one wanted the last time, but I'll be sure to give those away very, very soon. All right, team, that's all I have. Sorry I didn't bring another radio for a radio check over and out, but we'll see you on the next video. Radio check, over and out.